Nice jump.
Double Rover substitution, replacing number 21 John Buckley and 29 Jack Vale are 6 Tyler Morton and 9 Sam Gallagher.
2 twins are off.
Double Rover substitution, replacing number 14 Sorba Thomas and 23 Randy Dack. Right, Sam Schmolix and 19 Ryan Hedges.
No one near him. And he has earned your fucking wages.
Shambles. Absolute crap.
Peter Jackson, the junior player of the match, goes to number 27, Lewis Travis.
That's fun.
So it's the day after the 0-0 with Wigan. It's funny, innit? We go, 2/3 of the season without drawing, and then in the league we go back-to-back draws, and then 3 of our last 4 games have been draws. Obviously including the first game against Birmingham. What to say, really? I mean, it was a very, very boring match. I think out of the 2 sides, I think it was quite clear we had the better opportunities. Diaz, the first half of last season, he could have took that chance, the main chance the entire game, really. He could have took that chance the first half of last season with his eyes closed. It's stretching back to, I believe, Huddersfield at home since he scored in the league now, which is, just not good enough for someone who is supposedly going to be playing Champions League football next season. You know, it does beg the question, you know, is he good enough to be stepping up to such a level? The Diaz we're seeing at the minute, obviously not. Can't even cut it at the Championship right now. But, you know, is his head elsewhere? Is his head already in Spain? There was one instance in particular where he did pull out of a challenge, and you do question, you know, is he giving everything to the club with Villarreal in the back of his mind, or wherever he ends up, because apparently he hasn't signed that pre-contract from what I've saw, and obviously it hasn't been confirmed as of yet. But yeah, it's just Wigan, isn't it? I guess they really are our bogey team. For this team who are almost certainly down to take 4 points off us, and my mate gave me a stat yesterday what just boggles my mind, that their last 2 clean sheets have been against us. So prior to yesterday, they hadn't had a clean sheet up until all the way back in, what was it, October, November, when we went to the DW on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, whatever it was, which is just mind-blowing. But that is the problem right now. I mean, as Thompson said in the Sky Sports post-match thoughts, it's quite cutting that, you know, he mentions we let a striker go and we've let a winger go in Marconde, and obviously Hurst being the striker, and the player we're in for was a midfielder. You know, work that one out, and you're looking at our results as of late. It's clear as day we haven't got enough goals in this team, because Diaz isn't hitting the mark. The only man who can seem to consistently find the net at the minute is Bradley Dack, someone who, by his own admission, isn't even 100% yet. And it's just nothing short of embarrassing, to be honest. The whole thing with O'Brien was an absolute farce, and it's laughable and it's amateurish, and it makes us look really unprofessional. You know, there's not a cat in hell's chance if Notts Forest are to let him go in the summer, which I would assume they will be, considering he's not even making their full squad for the Premier League. You know, I can't see a world where he even considers coming to us now, seeing as we can't even handle our transfer business apparently. But in my mind, this is what happens you get someone in, Greg Broughton, who's never done the job before as a director of football. He's never been in this position before. He's clearly learning on the job, and it shows when, you know, we've been told at 10 a.m. on deadline day that we could have him, and that is more than enough time for the deal to be done. There'll have been many a team on that final day with less time and managed to sort their business out, and for some reason we haven't. And obviously there's the young lad Ethan as well, who we will be getting in the summer apparently. But again, what sort of statement does that give to him? And, you know, we could have had him playing for the under-23s and growing in our Cat 1 Academy for the next 6 months, and it could really hinder his development. The fact that we've been so poor in dealing with our business, and yet again we leave it till deadline day for whatever reason to get stuff done instead of making stuff happen ourselves. You know, obviously we were waiting for Notts Forest to tell us we could have O'Brien, but why didn't we have something else lined up ready if it weren't to go through? And the fact, you know, we were bringing in 2 midfielders, one of which weren't even going to be part of the first team setup, and not one of the players we were bringing in was a number 9, is just a laugh. It's abysmal, because in my mind, I don't think Sam Gallagher or Jack Vale are Championship standard, and I don't think that's me being remotely harsh. I don't think either of them are Championship standard, because I don't think either of them would get 20 goals in League One, to be honest with you. I think they'd probably put up 10 goals in League One, maybe 15 at a push, and I really don't think I'm being harsh there. The fact Sam Gallagher is one of our top earners is a joke. The fans are chanting, as I was saying, you know, the fans are chanting for Gallagher to come on, and it's just laughable really. I mean, he's one of our top earners, 15k a week, which is our cap. And it's no wonder people like Diaz are thinking, why the fuck would I want to stay here when, Sam Gallagher, who is half the player I am, has been rewarded last season with a new contract, even though the entire time we've had him on a permanent basis, so obviously not including the loan spell under Coyle, he's underachieved. The only time I've seen Gallagher been good in a Rovers shirt was under Coyle. Even when Mowbray came in after Coyle, his numbers started dipping, and it were Graham and Emnes and whatnot who stepped up under Mowbray. It boggles my mind that we've let someone like Gelhardt, who is at Leeds, distance from Leeds to Sunderland and Leeds to Blackburn is near enough the same, you would think, if not even Blackburn being closer than to Leeds, obviously with Leeds being West Yorkshire. And we're in a much better position than Sunderland, and we've let him go there. Obviously Sunderland get massive numbers through the gates in comparison to us and whatnot, but it shouldn't be happening ultimately. With the position we're in, we should have been, flexing our muscles and trying to get some decent signings in. And ultimately, as John Dawes said yesterday, it's a big indictment on the club when we've let 2 players go and we've only brought 1 in. So we're actually in a weaker position, you would say, on paper, because obviously we've got less players now than before January, which, obviously some people would say they'd rather have Sorba Thomas than Marconde and Hurst, and I probably would be inclined to agree. Although Marconde has really impressed me in the game time he's been afforded this season, which isn't much under John Darley. Obviously, just doesn't think he I believe, and from his comments anyway, thinks he's a bit too lightweight defensively at the minute. So hopefully, getting some minutes out in Scotland, he should rip it up there. Aberdeen, hopefully. But Sorba Thomas, on a brighter note last night, was probably the player of the match, or the man of the match. I can't believe I've just said that. He probably was the man of the match, in my opinion. It would be between him and Costello. Costello had a brilliant game once again. Fair play to him. I'm really not sure how Travis got it, but I think maybe they've chucked him a bone, because he had a decent game after such a barren spell before that, really. But yeah, there are some positives to take from last night, but obviously the overwhelming negative is, we've gone toe-to-toe with Wigan over 2 games and we haven't scored a goal. And this is a team that is rock bottom of the league. This is a team, as I mentioned, that prior to yesterday hadn't kept a clean sheet for 4 or 5 months since the last time we played them. Just embarrassing, to be honest. And yeah, I think my hopes and my prediction of a 5th, 6th finish is looking well and truly off. I would have believed and said, if we'd have brought in a Gelhardt and Undav, I thought that would see us over the line for a playoff spot. We needed someone to come in and get us 10 goals from January to the end of the season, be that talisman up front. Not a Gallagher who's probably going to give us 4 goals between now and the end of the season if he's lucky. Sorba Thomas, he's scored 3 career goals, I've been told, his entire career. And, we're begging and pleading for goals, and we're bringing in someone in who doesn't have any goals to the game. A brilliant set-piece technician, from what I've been told. And like I said, he looked bright yesterday, but we're begging for goals right now. And obviously it's the hardest thing to do in football. But obviously Dak weren't his very best yesterday. There were a couple chances which, you know, he could have got to and whatnot, and if he had, they would have gone in, but it weren't to be. But yeah, and on a good note as well. Well, not a good note because obviously Kaminski's injured, but I'm glad Pears has obviously got his shot now at first team in net, and hopefully, hopefully he can stake a claim and keep himself there, because many fans were saying it's time for him to be given a chance over Kaminski, because Kaminski hasn't been great recently. I don't think that's harsh to say. And Pears, I think every single game he's played this season, he's been at least an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. You know, even the Notts Forest game, he got man of the match that day, and he let in 4 goals, which, you know, says it all really about how well he did to keep it down to 4 goals and how some of the saves he were pulling off. So hopefully, you know, being a goalkeeper, he should take this with both hands, but time will tell. But yeah, on to Watford. You know, funnily enough, I was saying after that Wigan result to my friend, oh, we're going to get tonks now going down there. You know, if we can't even beat these lot at home, what chance do we stand going to Watford away? But it's the sort of game we actually turn up in for whatever reason, just like we did at Norwich away after the horrendous Burnley and Preston results. It's just what we seem to do. We make our lives difficult for ourselves against the shit teams, but we seem to turn up against the better teams, and I think this is more of a style of play thing for us. I don't think when we are afforded the ball and we are afforded the majority of possession, I don't think we can play with it. I don't think we can break a team down. But when it's the opposite and we are scarce of possession, and you've got Diaz, you know, on the counter-attack, you've got Dolan on the counter-attack, you've got Dak making late runs into the box on counters, it just suits us. And, you know, this is the annoying thing, the fact that we're playing this Man City style of football with players who just simply can't play it. And, you know, we stood every chance of this season of, realistically, you know, we should have been making the playoffs. And, you know, like I said, I don't think it's on anymore from what I've seen from the transfer business. Just not good enough, really. But with the position we're in, we should have at least been getting 6th position. And, you know, if we'd have maybe traded, you know, that long-term plan, which obviously John Doe keeps going on about, it's a plan, it's a few-year process and whatnot, because that is why he's sticking to his guns, and he's wanting to pass out from the back with the keeper, the defence. It's a plan at the end of the day for him. It's not a short-term thing, but I think if he'd have ripped the plan up and said, like, let's go for it, I think we could have made playoffs this year, and it would have been the first time in a decade of being down from the Prem we made the playoffs. But alas, I think it's going to be another year without the playoffs, which is really depressing fact. The fact's, you know, we haven't even made it once since relegation from the Prem. But yeah, on to Watford away, then West Brom away, and then Swansea back at Ewood. But cheers for watching, guys. Leave a comment below and whatnot. Tell me what you thought of the game. Tell me whether you agree or disagree with what I've had to say. Obviously, leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Not the most vlog content, but like, it was a no-no. So you know, you can't expect too much. You can't expect miracles. But cheers for watching, guys, and I shall see you more than likely for Swansea at home, unless I do make a last-minute decision to go West Brom away.